This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have another good neighbor on with us, and that is Andy Dewar of Andy's Dance Party and DJ Services. What's going on, my man?
Good afternoon, Sean. Glad to be here.
Super happy to have you on the show today. We've seen each other, had some small conversations, nothing to this extent. So I am super pumped to get to know you on a deeper level and, of course, share that with our listeners. But before we start, how was the weekend?
My weekend is recovering from a sprained ankle. So I spent the last week with my foot on ice, but it's really coming along better now. And I went to work today, so it was an interesting weekend, but I had to do what I had to do to make it better.
That is an injury I am all too familiar with. I think I've sprained my ankles 4 times, 3 on the same one.
Really?
So
you are a sucker for punishment. That is not something I'd want to do again.
No, the 2 worst ones I ever did, I was sliding around as a kid on a hardwood floor and I slipped. My foot came back and my back of my toe touched the back of my head.
Whoa.
And the other one, I was playing floor hockey in like grade 11 and I had to jump over somebody because they fell. And the guy who was playing goalie had about a size 14 shoe, and I landed sideways on the front arch of his foot.
Wow.
And principal had to take me to the hospital on that one.
Ooh, that's wicked. Yeah. Not a fun experience, with a sprained ankle like that. It was not at all what I expected when it first happened. Very painful to say.
How did yours happen?
I was getting out of a vehicle, but it was like a work van. So it was one of those vans you have to literally step up to get into.
Okay.
And when I parked it, I went to get out of it and I turned, and instead of stepping down out of it, I decided I was just going to slide out, and there was a curb there and I was kind of aiming my foot to hit the top of the curb, but I caught this edge of the curb and it was just my whole body weight sliding out of the van. And oh man, I'll tell you, I almost passed out when it first happened. It was really a big surprise, to say the least.
Yeah, the pain level versus some other things that happen to you when you get hurt, the ankle, I would say, is definitely right up there.
Oh, it's number one in my books from my experiences so far. Yeah, definitely. I fractured my elbow. It was nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. So.
Well, wishing you a speedy recovery. Not much you can do with that type of thing. It's just kind of ice it, keep your foot up, and have a couple beers. That's really all you can do, right?
That's exactly what I did. Iced it, Voltaren, icing, ice, and lots of ice. So I went through a big bag of ice. It was, in a week. But I did what I had to do, and it's not easy for me to sit around and do nothing. I'm really not that type of person, but it was pretty important that I do that to get the best results. So
for sure,
because I'm feeling a lot better today.
Well, that's great news to hear, and super happy to have you on the show. Obviously, your business name gives away the secret towards what you do, but for our listeners listening to this one, why don't we go ahead and dive right into it? Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your business?
My business is Andy's Dance Party and DJ Service. And the first half of the name, Andy's Dance Party, was when I first started my business. It was just putting on dances. That's what my dream was. And it's always been my dream to someday put on dances. And then from doing dances, I got into the DJing. By people. I did my first 2 dances. I wasn't happy with the music. I hired DJs. So I decided to do my own music, got the equipment, and people loved my music. And through that, people started coming to me at my dances and asking if I could, my daughter's getting married. Would you do the wedding? And it was like totally caught me off guard because it was never my intention or my business plan. Didn't even think of that. It was just strictly to put on the dances. And just by doing my dances, I added the branch and DJ service to my business.
Well, it's a pretty broad spectrum when we're talking about it, because you can dance in a lot of different places. What are some of the kind of top venues for our listeners if they're listening in where you would kind of
Um,
organize a dance?
I have done dances in like the Sheba Shrine Hall on John Street. I've been in there, done quite a few dances in there. Right now, I'm doing my dances at the Lynx Kitchen and Social on King Street at the south end of Barrie. They called me about a month ago and asked me, they'd seen a lot of my stuff on Facebook and asked me if I'd be interested in doing dances there. So I went and visited them and had a talk, and I've done 3 there so far. And this coming Saturday, I'm going to start doing dances in Innisfil at the Lions Hall on Innisfil Beach Road. And my first time in Innisfil putting on a dance will be this Saturday night.
Very nice. Are these just social gatherings, birthday parties, weddings? What kind?
Well, my dances are strictly renting a hall, putting on the dances, doing all the marketing, charging at the door. And through that, what I do is I encourage people that if you want to have a birthday party, rather than going out and getting your own place, contact me. I already have the place. You pay the admission the same as everyone else. We reserve tables for you, and then you can have your own private little gathering at the dance. A few months ago, I had 3 different birthday parties at my dance. I had 85 people there, and there were three separate groups of people putting on a birthday party. So that was pretty cool, because that's what I want to do. I want to try and get people to go through what I'm doing already, so that they don't have to do all that arranging and planning and where they're going to have it and what are they going to do when they get there. It's all taken care of before they get there. So,
okay, very nice. So making it super easy for people.
It's pretty cool too to have the cake there and stuff. So decorate as well. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I enjoy it a lot.
And so you combine the dancing with the DJ services. You stick to a particular kind of play set when it comes to this stuff? Do people kind of give you a genre that they would like to hear at the party? How does that work?
Well, what I do, and I do it at all my dances, I have a form that I put on all the tables, and it's basically Andy's, your request. And I put these on all the tables with a pen because I want people to be involved. It's not that I don't know what music I'm going to play. It's just that it allows me to get the people involved, but it also allows me to spread it out so that I'm not playing maybe 2 or 3 songs from the same table. I'm able to, move it around a little bit so that people are getting to hear the songs they want to hear. 95% of the requests I get are already on the file that I have set up to play for that night. It just allows me to make sure that the music moves around to what the request of the people is. So it allows them to be really get involved.
You mentioned that there's like an admission fee, or typically when people coming in, is that the admission fee? It just gets spread around all of the guests, and that pays for the service, or is somebody kind of hosting the event and then they're made like a buck and dough, for example, or they're trying to raise money?
Well, because I have to rent a hall and I have to pay for that, I charge people so that I can, have it ready so that I can bring people in, and I can't. So they pay to come in because I have overhead by renting a hall, because I do not have my own location. It's my dream to eventually have my own place one day where I can run those circumstances differently. But right now, because I have to pay money to get into the location to do the dance, then I charge admission so that I can afford to do that.
Oh yeah, fair enough. You're spreading it amongst the masses, so I would imagine it's pretty affordable to, if somebody gets invited, that their friend invited another friend, and they came in, that it'd be affordable to be able to come in.
Like you figure, to go out at night and get a night of dancing and a night of fun with your people at $10 a head. That's a pretty good deal. Because that's a great deal actually. So, and then one of the spots where I'm doing it now at Lynx, they can also come early, and if they want, they can have dinner before the dance starts. So that's, that way, that way Lynx gets they get something out of it as well, not just having me come in there and do the dance. So.
Right, totally. Do you do private venues at all, or?
Oh yeah, I do like weddings and birthday parties and backyard summer parties, and I had one time. I had my demographics is 45 plus is my demographics that I go after. And I had a lady call me one time, and she said, "My son's turning 16. Would you consider doing, coming and playing the music for my son's 16th birthday?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then after I hung up, I went, "What are 16-year-olds listening to?" I didn't know. Like, what do you do? Because I'm not anywhere near 16, and I don't have any, family that's near 16. So I do what I always do. I research, went on the radio, on the internet, got a whole library of music for that demographics, and I went and did the birthday party. And the guy that turned 16 came to me at the end of the night and said, "That was really, really great music. Thank you so much for making my birthday really special." And it's like, you had nothing better than that at the end of the night, So
Rock and roll, man, pun intended.
Right? Yeah, it's you have to be willing to learn and grow, right? And so I do a lot of. I always say to myself, "Oh, at this dance, when I put on my dance, I'm going to have lots of fun and spend time on the dance floor, and I'm going to have great." But when it comes down to actually putting on the dance and I'm behind the music, my job is to play the music for all the people that come. The odd time I might go out on the floor and dance around everybody, depending on the length of the song. But primarily my job is, and it's something I take very seriously, to play the music so that all the people that came can be on the dance floor having a really good time. So it's I talk really great about what kind of a time I'm going to have, but when it comes right down to it, it's my job to make sure they get the music and are on the floor dancing.
100%. So obviously having a passion for music is key to doing what you're doing. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your journey and how you got into doing what you're doing today and some of that passion behind the music?
I got music and dance from my mom. My mom, I probably from the time I was 6 years old. My mom was a dancer when she was young, and she could play the piano, and her and I would play music and tap dance together and stuff when I was really little. And then like at family gatherings or gatherings that we would go to, sometimes she would play the piano and I would sing and tap dance to people. So from the time I was 5 or 6 years old, music and dancing has been a very, very important, big part of my life. And I'd go as I got older, I'd go dancing. I'd be on the dance floor all night. Like if I'm going out dancing, I'm on the floor all night. I'm not one of these guys that has to wait for somebody to get on first, because I'm the guy that's going to be first. And I'm the last guy off at the end of the night. I just love to dance. And I just, back in the day, there used to be a lot of places in Barrie where you could go dancing, Holland Landing, Huntsville, Aurora, Alliston used to have a dance. There used to be dances in Barrie. And I'm not talking like bars. I'm talking places where that was the sole purpose of the event, was to people go in and dance. And now there's nothing like that anymore. Like it just doesn't exist. And I used to help like with the fundraisers, putting on dances. I used to get involved in doing that. And then even that part of it even stopped. There wasn't even those anymore. And so for 2 years, I researched people's thoughts and feelings about having a place that was separate from everything else, where people could go dancing. And after 2 years of asking and listening, I decided to start putting on dances. And my first dance was in, I think, February of 2010 when I started this, putting on the dances. And
very cool.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm very passionate about it. Sometimes I think to myself, "Oh, why do I do this?" But then I remember why I do it. I do it because I love it. And I really think, like, if people, sometimes I don't have very big numbers at my dances, but I don't take it personal, because you're missing out. That's my feeling, is if you're not going and giving it a shot, you're really missing out on an opportunity. I don't take it personally that, oh, well, people aren't coming. To me, it's like, it's to get them to come and find out just how much fun it is. Like we used to go out when we were younger. We'd go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, with our buddies, to the bars, dancing, singing, music playing, having a really good time. It's like, well, you know what? There's no reason why we can't do that today. I'm not saying we do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday because of the demographics I go for, but it's like Saturday nights, I finally got 2 places that will give me Saturday nights to put on dances, which is a perfect night for my demographics. And it's just getting people to get up, get out, and remember and how much fun and how healthy it is to get out and do those things,
Yeah, for sure. You're getting out there, moving your body, get the blood flowing, you get to socialize and listen to some good music. Sounds like a good time to me.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And that's the thing. That's the biggest hurdle right now, is getting people, especially with the pandemic, because people got used to sitting and being entertained, whether it be TV or movies or what. But I think people got used to sitting and being entertained as opposed to going out and being a part of the entertainment. That's the big hurdle right now for me, is to just get people to come out and just try it and just get involved and just find out just how much fun it was. Just like when we were younger, it was a lot of fun doing that. And that's where I'm at now.
Super happy to have you on the show and help you spread that message. Are there any myths or misconceptions when it comes to DJing, dancing, that type of thing?
I have never had any issues in terms of people's attitude or people being negative. Pretty much every dance I've ever done, or every event that was private that I've ever done, at the end of the night, people come to me and say, that was really amazing music. Thank you so much. I've never once had somebody come and say, oh my God, are you serious? Like, it's always been a positive effect. It's always been positive. Thank you so much. You did a great job, and that's really nice to know, because a lot of times when you're doing an event, you don't really know, and so a lot of times you're nervous because, especially if you're doing a private and you don't know anybody, you have no real idea of what to expect. But it always turns out at the end of the night where people come and thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you did for us tonight. And that's pretty rewarding.
Oh, very nice, for sure. Yeah. I mean, compliment and one of the best forms of flattery, and obviously a direct reflective on your talents as a DJ.
Yeah, and I'm also not a DJ that spends a lot of time on the microphone. I don't believe in it. But what I do is I go out table to table and connect with the people at the tables individually. And I have a pretty good sense of humor, and I'm really good with people. And rather than trying to connect to the group as a whole, I like to hit the tables and how you doing, and is there anything you haven't heard yet that you'd like to hear, and just make sure that everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, really nice personalized service to give to everybody, helping them connect on different levels. Sometimes, with dancing, there's other people that are out there that could be a little bit more on the shy side of things, or maybe they don't feel like, or they're too shy to maybe request a song. So, getting up and getting involved, I'm sure that goes a long way with most people.
I have a friend of mine who's shy. I don't know if he's an introvert or not, but he's shy, and he helps me. He works the door where people are coming in, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, okay, the next person to come up and shake my hand, gets a free dance with Brian. Just they all know who Brian is, so they're like, and they laugh, and Brian's over there going, "Oh my God!" Like, don't do that, right? Just to keep people going and keep the mood and the energy at a good place. So,
very good.
Yeah.
So, clearly, music is your passion, and helping people get up there, and body language is most of our communication. Dancing is a great form of communication, a form to express yourself.
Yeah.
But then there's a harmony too, right? Running a business is an entirely different component. It takes a lot of our time on a week-to-week basis. Lots that goes into it, and that's the professional stuff, and then you have the personal stuff. So when you're not working on your business or working in your business, what does Andy like to do for fun?
I like to go out dancing. I do. I do, but I like movies as well, and I like going out to eat, and like some of the festivals that go on in Barrie. And I like to walk, go for walks, especially along the water. Is something that I like to do. Exercise, fresh air, sunshine, stuff like that. I have 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. And I really like to, I spend a lot of time with my one son lives in town, and my 15-year-old granddaughter, she likes to spend time with her grandpa. She'll, text me and say, can we go out for lunch sometime? And I'll go, yeah. So we do that a lot, where every couple of weeks, we'll go out and have lunch together, and spend time with my sons and their children. So, family.
Family is really important. I'm pretty close with my family as well. You also talked about food. What kind of food are you into?
Yeah, food. Love food. Prime rib.
Prime rib, baby. Yes.
My dad was a chef when I was a young lad growing up. Yeah. This is also a part of my passion for what I'm doing. My dad was a chef when I was a small boy. And because as our family got bigger, because I'm one of 7 children, my dad had to go and got a job at the government working at the post office. But before that, he would do events. And when he got the job at the post office, he started prepping food at the house for parties on the weekend that he would do. And even as a little boy, he would show me how to slice roast beef. And like, I really got involved my dad was great that way too. He was really good at showing us how to do things and being a part of it. And so even that, it has been a big part of my, it's like when I started doing it and I thought about my dad and doing those things with him as a small boy, it was like, yeah, he's probably up there in heavens looking down on me going, when are you going to get started on that dream you have? And that's exactly what it is. I think of my dad a lot during my business, and just, he was a pretty cool guy. And, like I said, I still think of him every time I slice that roast beef or make that salad. It's like, because I like to cook. I love cooking myself. So,
yeah, Julie and I are big on cooking food. I got introduced to the sous vide about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I cooked my first prime rib roast in that, and I will never go back. It just brings everything to a different level.
Yeah. And that's what I did too. Like a few years ago when I started, like when I expanded, because I've grown it, it's gotten bigger in different ways over the years. I decided that I wanted to learn more about having food at events. So I went and got a job at the Holiday Inn, and I worked in the kitchen for 2 years, prepping food and working on the lines for buffets and banquets and stuff. And so it's like self-education to be able to bring more to make my business better as well. So that was pretty cool.
So is there a catering component that you offer at your events as well?
No, because when I do, like someday, if, like I said, if I ever had my own place, yeah, definitely. But right now, a lot of what is the place where I rent. Like they have the bar, the bar is theirs, and if I decide to do a function with food, then sometimes like for Valentine's or a Christmas party, I would maybe do work with them at prepping a dinner for an event that I'm going to be doing, but all of that would be processed through where I rented the hall.
Okay.
I also now, because of my background and because I wanted to get educated more in it, because there's a lot of like the rules, like safe food handling courses. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I did that as well. So the more I know, the better I'm able to make sure that my customers, because even if I'm in someone else's building and they're coming in to this building, those are my customers, and I want to make sure that they're getting top-notch service. So knowing that and understanding the food side of it. And I've also got my smart serve as a bartender. I've done a lot of bartending in my life. as well. So just being educated in those areas makes my business and makes me better at doing what I want to satisfy my customers and give them more than, like I said, I have grown from, simple to where I'm expand more into other areas to make my business better.
100%. No, I'm very glad to hear that. I think definitely there'll be some people that'll be interested and wanted to reach out and get out there on the dance floor.
Totally.
Good music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in life, we pick a path to walk. That's the path of life.
Yeah.
And we go through the motions, and over the course of time, life will throw things at us.
Wow.
We don't live in a perfect world, and sometimes those come in forms of life challenges, obstacles. Sometimes we experience hardships, and
Yes.
it's been a fascination of mine with human beings and our ability to be able to overcome a lot of these things and how we grow and the struggles that we have to go through. And sometimes they're worse than others. Sometimes they're forms of tragedies. Other times it's, more of just a, more on the minor side of a personal hardship, but it's different for everybody. But looking at the glass half full, having the right mindset towards these things to overcome them and move forward is a pretty special thing. Silver linings, that kind of thing.
For sure.
Have you ever experienced a hardship or life challenge that maybe you overcame, maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger?
I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I'm a survivor, and I'm also a recovering alcoholic addict. I've been clean and sober 31 years.
Wow.
And, I look back through my recovery of both of those experiences, one as a small boy and the other one, as I got into my teens and started dealing with my life through alcohol and drugs. When I look back in my recovery, I've been able to turn those experiences into a positive, because there's a lot of behaviors, there's a lot of decision-making processes. There's been a lot of reading people and understanding people that I've learned through the process of dealing with those circumstances in my life. They become a positive to me. What I've learned in my recovery with those circumstances has made me a better person than if I had not have experienced those. And that's what that's what I've learned from them. Everybody gets different stuff. It's what you do with it is the whole plan of having those experiences, to me.
Yeah, the silver linings it's something, like I said, I'm pretty, what's the right word I want to use here? It's a pretty crazy thing on how something so tragic like that could happen to a person, but being able to look past that, find those positives, learn from that, try to become a better human being, right? How we treat people, how, everyone's going through something at any point, rather. And some people are a little quick to assume, a little quick to jump the gun. Somebody snaps at somebody. I always try to think to myself, something's going on in their life. And unfortunately, I might have got the brunt of it, but trying to always treat people with decency and have humility and respect for others. It really does go a long way in the long run.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I still work with, I've sat in rooms with men where I used to be, who are survivors of that type of childhood, and they're killing themselves with drug and alcohol as a means of not facing that. I sat in rooms with them, and I've helped men like that, and I still, after 31 years, I still go to my Sunday morning meeting, of AA, and I set up the room and help with the coffee and put the chairs and tables together, and I stand at the door and greet, so that when that newcomer comes in, just like when I did, there's somebody there with experience and strength, to help them and guide them along and be there for them, just like there was when I walked in 31 years ago.
Okay, so you donate your time on the weekends to give back?
Every Sunday morning, my Sunday morning meeting, every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, yes. I've been a member of that group for 31 years.
Wow.
I've lived for you. Yeah. And it's, you keep it by giving it away is kind of the term we use. And that it means that by being there and having the experience of being new at one time and doing the working the steps in the program, you're able to help other people get to where I am today. It's pretty rewarding.
No, 100%. I mean, I've had people that have helped me along the way, and any second, I can have the opportunity to be able to help somebody else that was in a, position prior to.
Mm-hmm.
That case is, right? All different cases for different life events, different things that go on, not quite as serious as some of the others topics that we're talking about. But I mean, good people give back. It's a human nature thing. Love to see it, highly encourage it, and hope we want to see more of it.
Yeah, right. For sure. Yeah. Being there for others and just being an example in life. Everybody kind of gives back in different ways. And, part of my giving back is being who I was intended to be before all that stuff happened, and today I get a chance to do that. I never would have hung with people when I was using and dealing with that stuff. I never went into rooms with lots of people and sat with them and was comfortable. No way, man. I'd be in the corner. I had no interest in connecting. Didn't know how really, but today, like I said, my meeting, I'm at the door. We get 100+ people at our meeting on Sunday morning.
Wow.
And it's like, if I'm not there one week, the next week when I am there, they'll say, "Where the heck were you, man? We missed you." Like that's, just learning how to be a good human being and appreciate other people. And that kind of reflects into my business. I never would have been the business person and the people person I am today if it had not been for experiencing those things and then learning how to get out of it to be who I am today. It's pretty rewarding.
Well, that's something I'm happy that you shared, that we get an opportunity for the listeners to not only obviously see the business, because when you're out and about, you see advertisements, you see somebody's logo, you only know so much.
Yeah.
We get an opportunity to not only get to know the business, but the people behind the business. That's
sure.
what we embody here on the show. I'm really happy we had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity to meet you and get to know you better and have this time together.
So what's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
For the demographics that I go after, it is not only an extremely fun and enjoyable thing and place to be, it is also a very healthy and emotionally, mentally, and physically rewarding place to spend your time, because there are so many benefits from it by getting involved and being on the dance floor and laughing and exercise. And like I said, just the healthy side of it as well, not just the fun, meeting new people, hanging with your friends and laughing and having a good time. It's in so many ways, it's important for my demographics to get involved.
Yeah, music's been around for so long, and it's one of the ways that humans have been expressing themselves for such a long time. And whether you've done it before and you got away from it, I mean, COVID worked its number on a lot of different people, in the older demographic, more mature demographic, let's call it.
Yeah.
A lot of people had a tough time with that. And I take a look at my parents, as an example. My mom and dad, if they're listening to this one, they having an outlet to be able to go and meet new people, but meet new people in a fun, casual setting, that's something I'm sure that they would enjoy. And so, encouraging people listening to the show, that's definitely something they might want to consider.
And that's the biggest point that I would stress in this is that give yourself a chance to get out and really discover that again, just like we did when we were younger. It can be the same. Having fun and laughing and talking about life and seeing people that you maybe sometimes people have come in that I was in high school with and I haven't seen since then. Like that's, for me, that's a long time ago, and it's like, wow, how are you doing? You know what I mean? It's connecting like with them people. It brings back memories just like the music does. The music can take you back, but so can meeting, seeing friends that you haven't seen in a long time. It's pretty cool.
Certainly, really big fan of that for sure.
Yeah. Very rewarding in a lot of ways.
100%. Well, really appreciate you coming on the show. I definitely know there's going to be some people that are interested, for those who want to learn a little bit more on how they can get involved, how they can maybe put on a dance, whether it's private, at a hall, how they could take advantage of your services. What would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you, Andy?
My email, or they can go on. First of all, I guess I would say my Andy's Dance Party Facebook page is one of my main. andysdanceparty.ca is my website, or andy@andysdanceparty.ca is my email. But I would say if you went on my Facebook page, you can get to everything else through there, because that's where I do most of my flyers, and I do my own flyer designs and stuff. But to really connect with me, to come at me in different ways, you can do that by getting on my Andy's Dance Party Facebook page.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. That was a lot of fun. Great opportunity to get to not only know your business, but get to know you a little bit more as a human being. That was a really cool conversation. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Thank you so much. It was really nice sitting here with you, Sean, on a beautiful afternoon, and great, really good to talk with you. Thank you again.
No worries. We'll catch you around.
You certainly will.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.